What's happening, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I always appreciate people taking the time.
Yeah, I'm glad to do it. I'm glad to be able to support good people doing good music. And of course, I've known about your work for decades now, and it's great to be able to promote some brand new music here in 2025 with a brand new band that you're a part of, some cool stuff that's coming up on the horizon. There's a lot to cover.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to speak with you. It's been an interesting progression the last year or two. And yeah, we can dig into a lot of the old stuff too, whatever you want to talk about.
Oh, awesome. Well, first, I just want to talk about how I first found out about you, like way back in the day. Of course, listening to local radio around here, Sunday nights seem to have like a particular fondness for a band that I'm aware of called Black Flood Diesel. And I would constantly hear this band over and over again. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing a skyrocket of popularity going on, like, seeing you guys a part of like UFC and like all these other things that are just like getting some really cool stuff going on, but always having that great local touch going on. And it was really cool to see the band come back. And then now here with White Crosses featuring yourself and some other members of the band, like how did this all come together going from Black Flood Diesel into White Crosses?
So, with Black Flood Diesel, it was real interesting. There were I look looking at it, I look at it as there were probably three different phases of that band, right? There was the early phase when it was me and Benji Hellberg that started that band. And then right at the very end of that was when the Ultimate Fighting Championship came in, right? But he was still playing in the band. But then Brian Addison passed away, and then he went to play with American Head Charge, and I kept the band going with that deal, right? But then with like a lineup that had the most success from that band, okay, with Eric Giardina from No Loving Place, who he's no longer with us. He passed away. But Eric Day that played drums with us, and then Kerry Hansen, and then Aaron Wojcik, who used to play in Nuisance way back in the day. Um, so that lineup had a lot of success in the 2000s. We toured with Mushroom Head and recorded a record out there with them, and uh, have done a bunch of business with Steve Felton. I have over the course of my life and made like a lifelong friend with him from that experience. Then after that kind of era, there was the third kind of like maybe the band was in a twilight, but we'd still have some banger shows. I mean, we put out some good product, but that was when I started playing with Don Tinsley, who's playing in White Crosses with us right now. But uh, yeah, that was probably around 2010, I would say. And I guess Josh, well, how I can answer the question how how it went from that band into this band is at a certain point in time as an artist, right? As a guy that creates music, I create original music, right? Then there's guys who are very good at playing in cover bands, right? But I create original music. I need to create that original music. It has to keep being made. I realized that playing Black Flood Diesel shows um, got in the way of that because people want to hear the old music. And I realized on a smaller scale, on a very small scale, right? What bands that are perpetual legacy acts, how they fall into that trap. They just get paid to do it, right? We're not getting paid a ton of we were. I mean, even when Black Diesel was doing great, we weren't getting paid a ton of money. So it was just always for the love of the game, really, for about lack of a better way of putting it, right? But we never lost money, never lost money. So it was one of those things, but I have to create music, and it was beginning to get in the way of that, right? Because you play a show, the show has to be a lot of old stuff. The more old stuff people get nostalgic for, they don't open their mind to new stuff, right? It's a human nature type of thing. And so there's also a lot of darkness. This is a big one too. There's a lot of darkness that's attached to that band and to that chapter of my life in general. I mean, there's a lot of good times that happen from that era, but there's a lot of dark stuff that happens in that time frame too, right? And so white crosses is like something told me that I had to take this opportunity to do something new if I was going to do it in the world of metal, or I was just going to kind of fade off into the sunset, maybe to start a country career, if that makes sense, you know? Uh, and which I still might do that too, right? But like if I wanted to do something new, now is the time. I still got gas in the tank. I'm taking good care of myself, and let's do it, right? Let's see if we can have and really maybe flip some of the narrative, some of the darker narrative, or Black Flood Diesel. A lot of the success that we did achieve in the Twin Cities was in the shadow of American Head Charge. A lot of that was the case. And, I've got a lot more to offer than just a new metal movement in me as an artist. I do personally. And so it's been fun just kind of just letting her buck without like the kind of the auspices of the past, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, and it's always important as an artist to be able to try to push yourself forward. I mean, it's always good to respect the past, but especially when there's a lot of dark moments that happen within everything. And of course, being around Minnesota as long as I have, like hearing about all the different tragedies that have happened, all that, just from being in a band in general, there's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of good and bad that comes with it. And you always want to be able to push yourself to try to be able to create the best music that you possibly can and being artistically fulfilled. So I'm glad that you're still continuing to do that with something like White Crosses. And when I listen to this EP, it does feel like that you are channeling something that you really want to be able to put out there. And I'm glad to see that you're doing that.
That's great, man. I appreciate you giving it a chance as well. I mean, I feel like it's got enough of the old flavor to it a little bit to where like I don't think Black Flood Diesel fans will be disappointed when they hear it, right? But it's just a little more straightforward. It's a little more straightforward. It's more of a straightforward metal project, I think, and that feels good. This project has one guitar in it. I'm real big on that at this point. And the guys in my project like the philosophy of it too, because what it does is it allows each. So I look back on some of my favorite bands and some of my favorite artists, and there's three pieces, a lot of them, right? Like Stevie Ray Vaughan's my favorite guitar player of all time. And then Jimi Hendrix. Well, they played in three pieces a lot of the time, right? At the stages of infancy, at the very least, they did. And then you just look at like the Police. They're fucking ridiculous. Okay, it's a three piece. I think that everybody should be good enough at their instrument to where you only need one person to do each of it, right? If we're talking philosophy of constructing music, I don't think you should need a second guy. That's where my head's at right now. Now will it go back to I've been in two guitar bands my whole fucking life, right? I like this right now because it really does give everybody the freedom to do what they do, but it's all on me. It's all on me and it's all on him. You know what I mean? And it's all on him. And there's no excuses anywhere. There's no excuses anywhere. But there's a big reward to that too, right? Um, and everything is real tight too. That's the other thing is that I really like tight musicianship. I like watching a tight band, right? And it's nice to be able to do that still. I think we're starting to find a groove. I put us on stage on two festival shows quick, and rock. We just played Rock Fest, and that was a great experience, on the main stage. So now it's like we can come back home and play club shows, and it not seem like a big deal. That's been the philosophy.
Yeah, and I've noticed that with bands that I've been a part of as well. When you do have two guitars, especially, you can be a little sloppier and get away with it. When you have one
Yes,
guitar, you have to be so much tighter. And when you find the right people to be able to play as tight as you can, having just one guitar, one bass, drums, and vocals like that, you have to be at the top of your game. And that sounds like what's going on here.
it's the EP. We recorded it. We got that done. I mean, we recorded it in our rehearsal space and over at our drummer's house. And then my guy, Wally Joseph from Skywines, he's my producer for my solo stuff. He's also one of my best friends. And we gave it to we tracked it all and we gave it to him to mix and master. and it just came out. I mean, I couldn't believe how good it came out for how quick we did it, right? And so it's been nice. It's translated over. We're all really happy at this point. It's kind of like a new relationship, though, too, right? So yeah. There's that. It's a new thing. We're all happy, and the songwriting process is all new. Um, and we've been busy. The calendar's been busy. So we got the show this on September 6th next weekend at the Skyway Theater. That hopefully some people come out to it, and hopefully people like it. We'll see how it goes.
So, going with this new direction again with white crosses, just like the way that you're approaching it, the different style and everything, like, did that come organically, or was this the direction that all of you wanted to go when you started this band, or how did this come together?
So if from Black Flood Diesel and originally White Crosses was myself, Dennis Curran, who used to be in this band, the band Semtex from the Twin Cities, and then Sound and Fury. I knew him from a band way back in the day. It's a dear friend of mine, and he was in Black Flood Diesel at the time. Myself, him, Al Bourne, and Mike McCloskey. Those guys are guys that I'm playing with right now. Right, they're in White Crosses right now. Well, that was the lineup for White Crosses for roughly, I would say, a year and a half. And due to some, just basically having a stacked personal life, right? Um, Dennis Curran, we had to make a change, and we brought Don Tinsley back in. And so in the last like 3 to 6 months, we've had a spike of creativity to where initially Dennis was writing all of the guitar parts, and that's how the songs were starting. What we realized after making the change was that um, Al, our drummer, was sitting on just a treasure trove of music. I mean, he's just is just a songwriting machine. And so he writes the music now, and I produce it down basically to the vocals that end up getting written, right? But if we didn't make the change, we wouldn't have known that was going to be the case. And the tap has just kind of been on um, real seamlessly, and we might switch it up a little bit here, and get Don involved a little earlier. One of the songs on the EP is a song that I had written 22 years ago. True story. I had written 22 years ago, and I gave the music to Al, and he reworked it. A V is for Victory. I had that song written 22 years ago, and he reworked it in the drop tuning instead of drop D tuning that I had written in, and um, reworked it that way. So there's a bunch of different ways that we do, right? But right now, our drummer's writing the music, and I'm writing the vocals over the top of it. And that seems to be working really good. I'm big on um, what you want to do is ride the wave. When the good product's coming out, you want to keep doing it the same way, right? And you don't really want to make things too complicated on yourself. I think bands a lot of the time uh, overthink themselves, and simple is better. But if things are working out, sorry, I'm just kind of moving locations. If things are working out, and then practicing it, pretty much organically in there.
Yeah, I mean that makes so much sense, and I'm so glad to see that as well too. Like you still keep ideas no matter when they came out, because you never know when they could still be used. Like when I listened to the EP, I never would have thought that something would have been used 22 years ago. I mean, it sounds like all of these songs were just freshly written, and I think that really shows the power of the band and the EP when when you have the sound that you're looking for, when you can show off what the band is capable of, and you can just have this really nice, consistent sound no matter when it was written.
So what's wild about that, Josh, is that not to get too deep in the woods here, but I'm a big believer in, um, kind of my spiritual side is really attracted to, the universe tells you things. When things, it shows you things when you're making right decisions. It also shows you things when you're making wrong decisions. And the fact that that song wasn't used for 22 years and then pop right here, right now, like it was meant to be used right now, right in this circumstance. We're doing the right things. That's what the feeling was kind of told to me by my source, I guess would be a good way of putting it. Everything just feels really good right now, which is usually a good situation. As a band and as an original artist, that's all you can do, right? At the end, I write the music because it feels good to come out of me, but I want to keep music alive. I mean, period. For us as a species, almost at this point, if that makes sense. When we were growing up, like you're saying, you remember the young stuff with the Black Flood stuff. I mean, we can even take that back even further for both of us and say, we grew up with some really great music when we were kids, and I just don't think the kids value music, and I don't think people value music the way that maybe we all should. I'm not saying that because I'm a musician, but I'm saying it because music is a very powerful thing, and I think it's been kind of kicked to the side. It fucking sucks. You know what I mean? A little bit.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, there's so many reasons for it as well, but at the end of the day, music does have less of a priority in life and in art for the grander scale of things. And it would be great to see that come back and have a strong presence again. But it makes me so much more thankful for those who still do care, like the musicians that do want to make the best music possible, the people who want to be able to go to shows, support the artists, buy merchandise, whatever the case is. There is still a passion in there, and I don't think that part is ever going away. But it would be great to just see that rise and why music is so important and to have that grand scale again.
Right. Yeah. It's in the end, that's on my mind more than anything. Is just having that be. It would be great to have. I don't know. It's interesting to see how things have. I talk with some of my friends about it a lot. It comes up in conversation a lot about how things have slid from when it's just. I mean, and everybody says that it's not like it used to be. Oh, it's not like it used to be. Well, everybody says that, but I mean, I remember when, people would just go out and there were clubs upon clubs and you could go catch a band here, you could go catch a band there or whatever. There were several different types of genres you could go pick between from. Now all that shit's dried up and almost gone. It's like I don't understand how, and that wasn't that long ago, 20 years ago. I mean, it's okay, sure, it's a little bit of time ago, but it's not like forever ago. I mean, it's 20 fucking years ago, okay? Sure, time goes by, whatever. If you want something to be a priority, you make it a priority, I guess is the way that I look at it. And we all get older, but it's just wild how things can change like that, with something as important to me as music that has gotten me out of, I mean, it gets me through the day. It gets me still to this day. It gets me through workouts. It gets me out of bad situations. It reminds me of good situations. Like back since I was a kid, we'd make mixtapes for each other. you know, it's stuff like that. And so, it's nice to be able to feel like I'm at least doing something to try to keep it alive. You know,
Absolutely. And I think that's a good way to take a sidestep and just really show the appreciation for what you and Tempest are doing at the Skyway, being able to show off the production side of the live shows. Like, how did that all come together?
what's interesting with that was, um, at the Skyway under some real weird circumstances. They Harsh Reality was playing a Black Flood Diesel show, and the short version is that everything went wrong that day, in the load in and leading up to it and whatever, and I just lost my fucking shit, and somehow through that I ended up being able to book the big room upstairs, the lyric room upstairs, and parlayed that into some business opportunities, basically. Well, Tempest and I, um, kind of talked through that situation. She had nothing to do with any of it, right? It was just, I mean, it was just a bad situation. There were some people that were involved in it that just did not give a shit about anybody but themselves, and I lost my fucking marbles over it, is what it was. And it was during sound check, and we weren't going to get a sound check, and I'm the headlining band, and I just lost my fucking shit over it. That's the short version. Well, for whatever reason, it worked out to our benefit in the long run, and so from that, Tempest and I have just worked well together in a professional sense, from the very beginning. We're two very different people that come from different types of backgrounds, right? But uh, it I think we complement each other when it comes to, she's seen a lot of shit in the music business and in the professional world in general, right? In the entertainment business. I've seen a lot of fucked up shit, okay? In life and all, but in the music business, I mean, I know how it works at this point. I'm fairly confident about it. And so between, the two of us, there's a lot of experience that's there as far as being able to make things go. And I look, I've got real thick skin about things. So and I expect people to follow through on results, and I expect people to call me out on it when I'm out. Right? We got a really good relationship that way, and some people can work together and other people can't. And her and I just think can work together, right? In a professional context, it's been really good the last year or so, and so. Base 12 Productions just started as something in my head, being like, dude, somebody's got to fucking do something in the underground here, because the people from before aren't here to save us no more. Everybody I knew at 93X gone. First Avenue, the people that I know there, they're still there, but they run the whole play. They run their whole empire. They're not, and 93X isn't there to help anybody. They're not, here to help us. Hey, I love them to death for what they've done for us in the past, but they're probably not going to help us anytime soon. So somebody's got to do something in the underground, right? So that's just how it was hatched out of my mind. She sees the vision in it, saw the vision in it, and has taken an immense amount of fucking pressure off of me, an immense amount of pressure off of me, and also has opened up the door, has gotten our foot into the St. Cloud market at the red carpet, which is a um, extraordinary venue, classic venue in Minnesota, right? A lot of history, and so we've got some shows coming up there. One that we're playing with Harsh Reality in October, and then there's some other shows coming up as well. Motor City had super sweet Motorhead tribute band coming up here within the next couple of weeks here in September. So I mean, a lot of action going on that the two of us just work well together.
Yeah, and I'm just so glad to see that too, because as someone who grew up like listening to 93X and like hearing about all these local shows that were happening back in the day, like it would take up like 5 or 10 minutes just like going through the whole calendar and seeing like all these shows and all these venues. And now when I look at it in 2025, so many venues are gone now. So many people that were behind the stuff are not around anymore. Either they're not in music or just simply gone in life now. And I'm so glad that you two have taken it upon yourselves to be able to do this, show such a great display of like diversity in music as well too. Like when I look at the show that's coming up on Saturday that you guys are doing, it's such a diverse lineup that you guys are a part of, and it's just like a great night of like showing off heavy music rather than just like focusing on one genre. And I think that alone is so cool to see.
Oh, that's great, man. I'm glad that you dig that. That's been a big one for me too. That's been a big one for me is I love fucking with genres in the same show, right? Like I love crossing genre cross shows is what I like. I like if you throw a goth band down with a fucking death metal band, right? If it's a heavier goth band, throw it down with a fucking death metal band, and then throw a new metal band down in there. I like parties. That's my whole thing is let's get it back to the point to where you're forced to be exposed to stuff maybe that you wouldn't have been otherwise. Okay. But trust me, okay, I'm the promoter. I'm putting this together. I ain't gonna put bad bands on the bill for you. Okay. So trust me, and then we'll make it interesting, right? Like I'm trying to dial it back to that type of philosophy, right? So maybe that'll get people out of the house. It's been difficult getting people out the house, man. People, I'm telling you, brother, people have been, and I've been saying this to everybody, people just got to get out the house. That's People are paralyzed by analysis, or they think they're afraid of something. I mean, downtown's it's worse than it used to be, but it's not. Listen, it's not a war zone. You can go downtown and be okay as long as you're not an idiot, and if you don't look like you're ready to get robbed, okay, you're going to be okay. I'm here to tell people that, right? Like I do business down there all the time. That being said, it is probably a little more sketchy than it used to be, right? But let's not make this have you not go anywhere. It shouldn't have you not go anywhere. That's kind of my point, I guess. There's a happy medium to it, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, on Saturday with the bill that's going on with it, just like a good celebration of heavy music and all these different styles. And of course, seeing you guys being a part of it as well, too, and being able to do the first Minneapolis show. It's so cool to see that as well, too. I mean, being able to celebrate the EP that's coming out. But I'm also curious, it's just like with that being 15 minutes, like what else is going to be a part of that set?
As far as Saturday night.
Yeah, with your set. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
are you
yeah,
just
yeah,
doing the
yeah.
EP?
No, we have 40 minutes. We have a full 40 minutes of White Crosses stuff. So we have yeah, we'll be playing 45 minutes of stuff at least of all original stuff. That EP will be played and all of it will be played. Yep. All will be played. And we've been playing a couple Black Flood Diesel songs in the set if people and this will probably keep at towards we have a full set of White Crosses stuff, and then at the end of the night if people wanted to hear some of that we could probably accommodate that, I guess, would be a nice way of putting it, right? So 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30 is when the bands are all playing. So
Yeah, and I love that regiment too because it seems like everyone's going to be getting a proper set. There's going to be enough time to have any switchover, making the line checks, make sure everything's going out that way. And when it's going to be set up like an hour like that, it's just like you get a good taste of everyone that's going to be a part of the whole night.
right. Yep, 40 minute set, 20-minute changeover, bam. And people have been wanting to pack it in or a little earlier. Um, in general, within that's something that I've noticed over the last year to 2 years, for sure. That hasn't changed since COVID. Like people have been wanting to kind of be done earlier as the time goes by. So we'll give them an earlier show, but people can be home by 12, 1 o'clock if they really, really want to.
So, with that in mind, I mean, of course, you've already done some shows already, like Rockfest just a little bit ago, and now coming up at the Skyway. You talk about a show that's coming up in October as well. Like, how does that feel for you? Like, under this new moniker of White Crosses and like really starting to build this up. Like, how is that feeling for you, being able to like hit all these different places and being able to get the name out there?
It feels good. It feels good. I am going to be interested to see how it's received, right? That's gonna be a big one. After this weekend, and then after these run of shows, we've got a nice one that we'll announce here pretty quick out in St. Paul. Super cool bill that we're gonna be announcing here after this weekend. But we're pretty much busy out through the end of the year. And so what I'm really interested in seeing is how people receive it, right? Because I feel really good about it. And the festivals have been good. I mean, the people have the two festivals that we played, people have fucking enjoyed it. We've sold a bunch of merch and at each of them. And that's exactly what how Black Flood Diesel always was, is we always sold merch, and this has been no different. And so um I think that it all translates over really well. Um, now it's just time to bring it back home and see how it all works out.
Oh, definitely. So, it's great to see like throughout the rest of the year that I mean there's gonna be a lot of great live shows going on with that. With 2026, is like the focus gonna still be on the live shows? Are you gonna be working on a new EP or full album or a combination of both? Or have you thought about 2026 yet?
Yeah, I think 2026 will see us putting out a full length at some point in time over the course of the year. and it would be um, maybe using some of these the EP, right? Taking the EP and then tacking on another 7 or 8 songs on top of it, right? So you have a full 12 song release, something like that, 10 to 12 song release. Um, by the end of mid to end of 2026, including the EP that we put out, right? So this is kind of like a little taste, but we'd be using the same production and the same sound quality, right? With more songs on top of it, right? That I could see that happening for sure, and really fleshing out what I want to get into is the light show that's behind us and getting into that, and merging that with the sound, and so kind of really crossing into that space so that the show progresses, even if it's on a smaller stage, it progresses to a point to where you want to come and see it. Somebody want, it's as delivered for your $15. You're gonna, if you like metal, then this is what you want to go see. That's my goal, and I think it's totally achievable. I think it's totally achievable to do. It's just something that has to be. You got to put the work in on it.
Oh, definitely. And I'm glad to see that that's also a focus for you as well, too, because it's one thing to make sure that the band is as tight as possible, that you can put on the best audible sound that you possibly can, especially in the live setting to get people out there, but to focus on everything else as well, too. Making sure that the lights is going to be good, the production is going to be good, just everything to make for the best live experience possible. And when you can sync all of that up, it always makes it more memorable.
Right, exactly. And it doesn't have to be crazy over the top, right? We will always be a plug and chug, you know, 4-piece metal band, bordering on it's kind of almost even progressing into like an East Coast hardcore type of sound, which is fucking wild to even say, but it's a very traditional sound, right? But that doesn't mean you can't dress it up a little bit, visually speaking, right? I've always thought that. And Black Blood Diesel was really good at that. Black Blood Diesel had some visual, pop to it per se, right? That's what you like to see on stage. I mean, whatever. I grew up watching Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, the hair metal shit. That's that. All that is a show on stage. Give people a little bit of that. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just imagine that the more that you start to refine, the more that you can work with all this, and especially with your production team, being able to work with other bands. That I gotta imagine there's some inspiration that's gonna come from that as well too. Like seeing other bands playing on stage and what could work with this, what could not work with this, and just like feeling inspired.
Yeah, well, exactly. And it makes you have to, you play big shows, you play with big bands, and you have to stack up with them. You have to sound good like them. You have to prepare like them. There's no other way around it. So that's at this point, the four of us have been doing this shit for so long that if you're not trying to hold yourself to some level of excellence, you're doing the wrong thing. You know, you gotta at least. I mean, if you're not kind of good at what you're doing at this point after doing it for 35 fucking years or 35 years, you know what I mean? Like, then you should be doing something different. I guess that's what I kind of say to everybody. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, I got really good musicians that I play with too. It makes it a lot easier to look halfway decent when, the guys that I play with are really good. I'm really fortunate to play with them.
Yeah, and that's so much of it right there is making sure that you have the right people behind you, the right people that you want to be around, and they're all working towards the same goal. Even if they have some differences, you're all working towards the same goal to make sure that you're making the best music possible, make for the best show possible, and just making sure the band is everything that it can be.
Exactly. Exactly. It's one of those things, man, where it's really easy to take for granted the really great stuff you have around you, right? Um, but I try, as I'm getting older, I try to, really relish the fact that, I still get to do this. And I do have really, really capable musicians that I play with. And, all of these things that when I was younger, oh, it's so easy to bitch about what you don't have, or you're chasing this record deal, right? That was a big one. You're chasing this record deal. Okay. And so at the whole time, all of this cool stuff's happening, but you're chasing this record deal. And so, looking back on it, hindsight's always 2020. You, I, all that cool stuff was happening, but I was chasing this record deal, and I was never totally happy because I never had that phantom record deal from Capitol Records or whatever for $8 gazillion that you think in your head is out there that never existed to begin with. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. So as you get older, it's kind of like I'm going to remind myself that I'm pretty lucky to be able to do this in general.
Yeah, definitely. And you get to do it your way right now. I mean, you have White Crosses going on right now. You got your production team with Tempest going on right now. You're able to keep supporting the local scene with what you're doing. You're able to go out and do shows like across state, different territories, and I imagine much more of that will be going on as well too in the coming years. And of course, the new music on the way as well too. It seems like everything is going in the right direction, and the fact that you are still able to do that is again just a cool thing to see.
South Dakota is an area that we want to go play. I some of the coolest shows that I've played out of town have been in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Those people get down out there. It is a fun place to play. So that is, and even out in North Dakota. I haven't been out there in a long time, but definitely South Dakota. And so that type of stuff is on the horizon for 2026. Yeah, and just keep cranking out the new tunes as well.
Oh, very cool. Well, I see Zoom's about to cut me off in just a couple minutes now, but I just want to thank you again for taking the time to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world of White Crosses. And before this cuts off, I wanted to make sure, like, plug everything that you got going on right now. If anyone's interested in what's going on with White Crosses or your production or anything else that's going on, please fire away.
Yeah, so here we go. So September 6th is the big one. That's next weekend at the Skyway Theater. Saturday night, Studio B. It's the production company that myself and Tempest Crane run. Baseball Productions, White Crosses, Beyond Forever, Black Label Society tribute band, Dead by 50, and the Impossible Prom Kings will be playing. $10 advance. You can get the Skyway site, 15 at the door. And the doors are at 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30 are the bands we are playing last at 10:30. And that's the skinny with that. That's the one that I want to promote. We've got some other shows that you can see up on our Facebook page, up on what the White Cross's Facebook page as well. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. The red carpet in St. Cloud coming up in October is a big one with Harsh Reality is a big one. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to get through this one. And then we've got a couple big announcements coming up as well for upcoming gigs that everybody's going to love because they're fucking awesome. And thank you, Josh, for the platform and the opportunity and for doing what you do. You don't get enough thanks from us for you just actually giving a shit, man, and listening to us and supporting us. So thank you, brother, for putting me on and all the good stuff. Okay, lots of love to you, my man.
Oh, thank you very much. And I feel the same way. And I'm just so excited to see where White Crosses is going to be going from here going forward and just like everything that's going to be happening, the announcements that happened, the next recordings, whenever that happened, all of that good stuff. It was great being able to talk to you. I'm so glad we were able to talk to you. Like, again, I'm just thinking back from the Loud and Local days, just like constantly hearing Black Flood Diesel. And I always just wanted to have like a conversation back in the day because I was so curious about like the local scene back then. And now, decades later, we're able to do this with White Crosses. This has just been awesome. Thank you so very, very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend. Have a great night. God
Uh,
bless. And we will do it again at some point down the road.
Sounds great. Have a great rest of the night. Bye bye.